This is episode number 492 of the Health and Fitness Podcast by InnerFight in association with Smith Street Paleo. Hop over to smithstreetpaleo.com, get your food plan in order, and you will start to feel the benefits of eating a healthy diet. So guys, if you're looking still for a big goal for 2019, then I might have something for you here. We've teamed up with Ultra X to give you a special rate on the races that these guys are organizing this year. They organize 250k 5-day races. It's a race series which are held in exotic and inspiring locations around the world, and they actually culminate with a biannual World Championships. It's super awesome, and I can vouch for this, that taking on a multi-day ultra in a far-flung corner of the earth is probably one of the greatest experiences that you can have. And now that Ultra X are making these experiences more accessible for all, it's definitely something that you should be considering for 2019. In this year, they have races in Sri Lanka, Jordan, Mexico, and they'll be adding 2 races to the series each year, with Bolivia and the Azores getting released in the summer of 2019. So if that really does sound like something that you are interested in, we have a discount code which will get you £200 off the races. You can hop over, have a look, ultra-x.co. The Sri Lanka race is the first race, which is on the 13th of April. You get £200 off using our code INNERFSL19. Go and check it out. Get involved. I'm looking forward to racing some of their races this year, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys there. Welcome back to another edition of the show. Back with Andre. Mate, I'm missing you on the weekly shows.
I know. Too busy.
I have to babble on for 15 minutes. Actually, last week's was super interesting, and it kind of flows nicely into what we're going to talk about today, because this week's weekly update show is talking all about the changes or the rule book for CrossFit.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of good feedback about those, so you're doing a pretty good job. Because there's so many things going on in the gym at the moment, and in the world, and most people, they kind of miss half of it, because there's so many different parts of InnerFight now, with the endurance and the CrossFitters and the open and everything going on. So it's quite nice to just be able to catch up for 15 minutes to make sure you're not missing anything.
I'm doing it to make sure I'm not missing anything as well, mate. So, but mate, we're going to go a little bit closer to the open, more in detail about that. But your gut feelings, gut reaction about reading the way to qualify for the games, the rule book. What's your thoughts?
I think it's all good. It is what it is, and there's it's a bit complex. with there's many ways, if you win the open, but if you win a sanction, then your open spot gets taken by number 2 maybe, and maybe not, and then I mean you just have to be good.
But I think, mate, definitely the fact that there is now a rule book out there, you know how you're going to get there. Before, it's a little bit of speculation, but now it's all there, and
everyone is calm now. Everyone knows what to do and how it's going to be, and that's super nice, because I think the CrossFit community over the past 4 months or so, I've been freaking out a little bit, and especially when the open is coming up soon. Starts 21st of Feb. So, just around the corner.
People are freaking out. Well, who better to have on the show than the most famous Carmen Bosman's Boz?
Yo.
Super smiley, super good looking, as always. Mate, it's been so long since we've had you on the show.
Yeah, last time it was in this little table, no microphones, holders.
We're fully pro now.
Yeah, pro.
Do you feel nervous?
Very.
Like the light shining on your good side,
God. My mascara is just dripping still from my run this morning.
But you've had a shower this morning, so that's good. We talked about that earlier. You're feeling fresh. Forgot to have one yesterday, but mate, I want to start.
That you mentioned this to everyone.
Tell everyone, mate. I want to start somewhere. We obviously brought you on to catch up, but your main sport is CrossFit. 2018 was going to be a year where you just kind of took it a bit easy. What ended up happening?
Well, I took it a lot easier. Okay, it started easy, but then because the year before 2017, after regionals, I lost, I didn't feel like I really wanted to do it anymore.
Right.
I thought I've done it for 5 years. I'm happy with how it is. I want to do something else. And then I found I was doing different things.
Yeah.
But then I started to work with Elliot, who started a program for me again. And then I tried to enjoyed it much more again.
What did you think you were going to do? I think that's actually probably the last time we had you on the show, wasn't it? Kind of after Regionals 2017.
Yeah, well, I bought a bike and I was doing all the movement stuff, and the biking I'm still doing, but the movement stuff, it looks cool for a few weeks, and it's nice to learn something new. Yeah. But it wasn't as challenging to me as CrossFit is.
Really?
I don't think I can ever stop. Now I realize I will always do some form of CrossFit. Yeah. Maybe not always competing, but it's just so nice. Like just doing a workout, lifting some weights, doing some, And I think I needed to step back to find that love again, I guess.
Yeah.
And then there was when he started the program for me, there was no pressure. He's like, just enjoy the training and we'll see where it goes. And then after just before the Open, I just felt really good and fit. So I was like, well, I'll just do it. I signed up 3 days before the Open started. Like it wasn't like I was just like, why not do it? I train anyway.
Let's try and dig into a little bit of what happened before. Like, do you think you got kind of bored of it? You'd done it for 5 years because it was kind of like, was it expected of you, or was it what? Why do you think you got to that point?
Well, when I started it, I wanted to go to the games,
right?
And I've always said, like, I always thought I gave everything I had to make it.
Yeah.
And I always failed in that way because I've never made it to the games.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess after 5 years of trying, I had something like, maybe I just need to step back and relax a little bit and see if I actually really want to try again.
Right.
So I stepped back, but I didn't really step back for a whole year.
No, but I think, like you said.
But I did other stuff that I didn't do for, like, ski trip. I really I was thinking, I love ski trips, and I didn't go for 5 years. And it's like, and then Claire and Paul and all were going. They're like, boss, come with us. I'm like, well, yeah. I'm not going to focus on regionals. I'm just going to do that. Yeah. And I never regretted it.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Skiing.
Yeah, having a good time.
Snowboarding, good time. Also realized that I don't want to do a festival. It was a ski festival trip, and it was 7 days of partying in the mountains. I also realized I'm over that now.
How do you find that balance? Because I think a lot of people are in that same boat. Like, even if they don't want to make it to the games, but they still want to be good, but all their friends like to party and drink, and they struggle to find the balance between, all right, I want to be a super good CrossFitter, but I feel like I also want to do that side, the party side. But the realistic thing is that, can you do both?
That's the thing. I always thought yes, but if you look back at me, I've made it to regionals each year because I'm lucky. I was kind of talented in a way, or like had a good basis of the movements and fitness, but I've never made it because I've always done a little bit of this because I feel like I needed to be happy.
Yeah.
And I realized if I really want to make it, maybe I should be a little bit less happy, social way, and
something's got to give.
Something's got to give, and I've never really wanted to give up on everything. So I've always tried to find that balance, but I'm still trying to find it now. Yeah. So let's see.
It's interesting what you said though about the fact that, like, the first two things you said there is that after regionals, it would have been like 2017. You bought a bike and you went into like a little bit of movement training. Yeah. And I'm like 99% sure. I should have checked the notes, but I'm 99% sure that's when we last caught up on this. And it's almost, you said like Ido Portal kind of stuff, like crazy lizards and stuff. Talk to us a little bit about that experience, because it's almost like that experience has then given you the thirst again to do CrossFit.
Yeah, I think also because I used to dance. I used to be a breakdancer, and that was before CrossFit. So I kind of went back to, and then before that I did gymnastics. So it's like when we were talking about the business, when something is going like you're not sure of how it's going, you're going to go back to your basics.
Yeah, right.
And gymnastics is my basics, and the Ido Portal and the breakdancing it's all just basic movements.
Yeah.
And just doing that again, and feeling better by doing less. And
but how long was it until you sort of thought, actually, yeah, I like this stuff, but actually, I love CrossFit more?
Let's say 3 months.
Oh, really? So it's good.
Yeah, I did the whole summer.
Yeah, true.
The whole summer, and then I started CrossFit training again in September, beginning September.
Did you feel that when you went back to training CrossFit that you had regressed? Like got worse?
No.
Nothing had really changed?
Nothing.
That must have been nice, though.
Yeah, because my lift didn't really go that much back down.
Really?
Maybe like 10 kilos, but in 3 weeks' time, it was back to where it was.
Wow.
And my body felt great.
Yeah.
I used to have aching knees.
Yeah.
Touch wood, but they haven't ached since.
Yeah, because you had a bad knee,
yeah,
right?
that's also one of the decisions why I was like, I don't really feel like I want to keep doing this for much longer.
Yeah.
Because that last year in 2017, until regionals, every day I woke up with my knees aching. And when I have to wake up in the morning and get out of bed, it took me 5 to 10 minutes to just like move
Old
my
lady.
legs.
That's how Holly feels.
I'm like,
Whoops.
Yeah.
She doesn't listen to the show. I think she should start. Everyone will be telling her, you've got to listen to Marcus's show now. But yeah, I mean, that's not a, I mean, at your age, mate, that.
Yeah, I was
you don't want to be feeling that.
27, 28. I was like,
yeah, 30 this year.
30 this
we
year.
could talk
Big
about
30.
that
Yeah, later.
So you jump back into CrossFit sort of after summer, but still with, like you said, not really any goal,
No.
just cruising.
Yeah, just cruising, getting better in running and just aerobic conditioning. That was the main focus, just building my engine.
Yeah.
And that's what
How did you... How was that process, mate? Because for a lot of people, and we've spoken about it a lot on the show, like, you know, it's boring, it's this, it's that, but you seem to kind of enjoy it.
I enjoy it because I just, like, go in my head and I just make up things in my head.
Oh, God.
I don't know. You know, like, I can really... Sometimes I just lose focus very easily, but if you do, like, low-intensity stuff, then you don't really need the focus. You just have to move your legs or...
Yeah.
And then just
and it's all good.
And there's things about. Like, I just think about things.
Just
I don't know.
sit and chill.
Or listen to something. Or music.
So it's kind of like a nice sort of entry back into things, and knowing that this aerobic base is probably going to help you in the long run as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you'd never done anything like that.
Never.
Talk to us a little bit about that. When you sort of went into workouts later on. Like, I think I judged you the first week of the Open of 2018.
Yeah.
Like, you were fit, but it was different.
It was so different.
It was quite different to before.
Because I was used to staying my heart rate around 140, 150 max for like 90 minutes to 2 hours. And then you feel like you recover faster from things, but then I wasn't really ready to go 180 plus for 10 minutes. I was just like, once my heart rate was going a bit higher, like, let's say once it reaches the red zone, I was just like, whoa, what is this feeling? And I used to just only be in that in that zone. I was like, okay, 175. This is easy.
Normal,
This is normal.
Walk into the gym, 175, I'm ready to work.
Exactly. Like I warm up and it's 175. But it's a different feeling, and because I know I can push and I can have feel like I can be in a pain for a while, but you also need to train being in that zone and doing all the low intensity stuff and then going back to that. Wow, that hurts. Really? You're like, wow, I'm so unfit, but you're not unfit. No, it's just you haven't practiced this. And in a few, and then that's when I tell yourself, it's fine, just go as hard as you can and do exactly what is programmed. And if it's not what you have in your head you could do, that's fine. You tried. And then the next week you do that again, and you just give yourself telling, and that's how I feel like I got a lot fitter.
Do you think, I mean, it sounds from that like your mentality or your mental approach to things probably changed quite a lot. Do you think?
Yeah. I
like
think
you were...
Just, what I tell myself is different than before.
I know you started reading books and stuff.
I
but
read
we'll talk
books.
about that
later.
we'll
do that later.
But I mean, it is a different mindset though, mate.
Yeah,
really.
it is. Like I'm always afraid I'm gonna be not good enough.
Right.
So in each workout, I'll get this stress from like I'll put this thing in my head before, and then if I can't get to that point, I'll be like, oh shit, this is not how it's supposed to be. Why am I even trying it?
Yeah.
But now I try to change that, and I'll be like, just keep going. If you can't keep this pace, then go on a slower pace.
Yeah.
But just if it's 9 minutes, just keep going for 9
going.
minutes. And if the 9 minutes are done, but you didn't keep that pace,
Yeah.
well, at least you finished those 9 minutes.
Isn't that something we? Sorry, mate, but isn't that something we see like a lot?
Yeah, and I just think it's super interesting that you're pretty much one of like you're a veteran in sport. Like in Europe, you're one of the ones who's been to regionals most times, pretty much.
Yeah.
From the female side especially, and you still have that battle in your head. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like it's just it's a good message to everyone who thinks that the top CrossFitters they're just tough and they can just push through it, and like they're tough and they can push through it, but the battle in the head is always the same, and they just get better and better at finding ways to persuade the mind to push harder and harder. And it just takes it's funny that even after all those years you still have that battle in your head.
Yeah. The most is in training. That's when the battle is the worst. In competition, I can go, and I know I can go, and I won't have that negative thing in my head, because I also really enjoy competing. But in training, sometimes you didn't have a good sleep, or I don't know, like something came up and you don't have enough time to do your session exactly how you wanted to do it. And then these little things, it's so easy to just tell yourself, no, you can't. Just like back out of it a little bit. So
do you think your approach to training like has changed? Do you still get that stress? Like,
no.
is what you described, do you still experience that, or is it gone?
It's not completely gone,
Right.
but I know now that it happens, so I can almost like anticipate on it.
Yeah.
Like I know how like certain times of the month, I know I'm more sensitive to certain things. So I know, okay, if I start feeling like this, okay, it's just get over it. Like
I think it's a tricky one, because I've been playing around with it a little bit recently. Like, you set out to do a session, and it's if it's 3 rounds or something, and then the ability to, or the maturity as well, to sort of get 2 rounds through something and then go, you know what, I don't need to do the last round, and to be comfortable with that is super hard. Like, it's difficult to do, be it even if it's a workout, like if maybe the workout's not going super good, or you're not in it. And to be honest, sometimes on a Sunday morning, it's cool. If you're not in it, you're not in it. But previously, we'd push through and maybe then get a bad result, and then maybe be more stressed out and create more anxiety. Whereas that ability to sort of scrap something, I think it's really hard to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
there's so many things that are out of our control sometimes. Sometimes you just have a bad night's sleep.
Yeah.
Like the sleep quality was crap, and you have 2 sessions to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to make the call whether you push through the 2 sessions or you go
That's
home and take a nap. And that battle is insane, because you constantly think, what are the others doing?
Yeah.
Are they doing that too? Like, am I going to get worse or better from doing either or? And which one am I going to pick? And that
there's no right answer to it.
No,
that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's whatever you're happy with for yourself, whatever you tell yourself it's okay to do.
Yeah.
If I would say, okay, I have 2 sessions, and I didn't sleep well, and I don't really have enough time to do both sessions well.
Yeah.
I'll do 1 session.
Well.
Great.
Yeah.
And the other one, I'll just write in my notes.
I didn't
do it because of A, B, and C.
But previously, is that a new skill?
That's a new skill.
Yeah.
Before
I
would just
do
it.
You just
and
do it.
Half-ass it.
So now you have more good sessions than you've ever had before.
Yeah.
And you're comfortable to maybe scrap 1 or 2 sessions, but there's not many sessions that you have that are a little bit mediocre.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of that approach.
And it's not just
That's true.
session might be like dangerous because you're tired or whatever. It's also just the mental. Like if you do a workout and you just suck, and you sucked in that workout, that's just going to leave you with a mindset of like, oh yeah, I sucked. Even though you only sucked because of all these reasons.
Yeah.
But you still did it, and it's very hard to find that.
And you're
balance.
also going to probably, if it was like a conditioning piece that you know that you should do like 8 minutes on it because it's 4 rounds or something, and you've done 9.5, you're going to want to do it again. So you've almost wasted that time. It's interesting because I think Holly said to me one day, she's like, just don't get so stressed about it. Just don't do it. She goes, it's not like you're going and eating McDonald's instead. And I'm like, yeah, actually, it's quite true because, some people, and this is for you guys that are listening, you can skip a training session so long as you keep everything else remaining constant. So you'd go home, you'd still eat well, you'd still sleep super well. But I think something, and this is probably what resonates with a lot of people, like they'll skip gym tonight. Why? Because one of their friends called them and they want to go out for 10 drinks and a pizza. Like that's when it's not all right. Yeah. And I think it's interesting to put that together. But I definitely, and it even happened to me last Sunday. Like I was doing a session that was written, that was in my Training Peaks, and I'm going through it, and I'm just like, I just asked myself, is this making me better? And it wasn't. Like I was a little bit sore from the weekend, and it was quite knee, single leg squats on a box and stuff. And I was like, this is just, and I tried to scale it, and even with the scaling, it's killing me. And I'm like, why am I fighting this battle? Like, just let it go.
Yeah. So the smart thing is that you ask yourself the questions, and if you're not comfortable asking yourself, like I always call Natalie. Yeah. I'm like, all right, so I have this dilemma. Should I do this, then, and that? And as I explain her, I already gave her the answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
Okay,
slept like crap, and this happened, and then I worked too many hours, and I actually feel a little bit niggle. Should I do the workout? You don't think so, right? Like, no, thank you so much for your help. It's just like, it's nice to get someone from outside to confirm that you're right. Yeah. And it's someone you trust or love or whatever who wants the best for you.
Yeah. I think it's true. And I definitely noticed that in you, Boz. I mean, that was quite an interesting point that's not in our notes, but I think that's a really big learning for a lot of people. Like, so long as you're remaining honest in all the other areas and you're honest in the training, if you can't back squat 100 kilos today, like, that's okay. Like, you've done everything that you can and just move on. So that's something cool. Mate, let's talk a little bit about what your program actually kind of looks like now. Like, what are the demands? Let people understand like what your demands are, because we see you training a lot.
So right now it changed a lot more volume because leading up to DFC, which was like the first big event of the year, I didn't feel I was 100% ready for it, and there's a certain factors that matters. But one was I didn't do enough actual workouts. So because we've been doing so much conditioning stuff and working on skills, but we didn't start to bring in workouts fast enough.
Right.
And I didn't feel 100% secure of what my abilities in an actual workout.
Like,
even though I felt
competition fit. Yeah, which is different.
Which is totally different. So that's why we just took we had a long meeting, and we decided to just up the volume and see how much I can actually take.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does that look like, mate? So what is the volume?
The volume is I'm running four times a week.
Sick,
yeah. That's why you're doing every time, like running again.
And running, and all the noise that comes with it.
All the noise, drama. Each day has like an actual CrossFit workout.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's leading up to the Open.
Yeah.
And then still there's always 2 sessions. So except on 2 days in a week, it's so Wednesday is just one session, and then Saturday is also one session.
Right.
But the Saturday one is like the zone 2, like 90 minutes.
So you pretty much train every day?
Yeah,
okay.
Every day. And then 5 times a week, 2 sessions, which one session will be a conditioning thing, like hard, like rowing intervals or running intervals.
Yeah.
And then the next session will be more like skill-based or lifting-based.
Yeah.
But also with intensity and not just skills.
So it's more kind of sport-specific.
Yes, more sport-specific.
When we look at your history, you're incredibly strong. You're good at gymnastics movements. Like you've got an incredible base.
Yeah.
Do you still try and get stronger, or what? Where do you what's the focus for the training? Is it just to be able to do CrossFit workouts as fast as possible, or are you still hoping to PR things?
I don't need to PR my max lifts that much. Like, I think I'm more on the top end of the spectrum in the women's side on lift, especially if it's just like a max lift.
Yeah.
And also moving a heavy bar for like a load of reps, I'll be good at. That's like what I'm good at.
Yeah.
But it's more where it's lightweight and moving fast with lightweight. That's the main.
Sprinting, basically.
Not sprint, but like for a longer time, like maybe 12 plus 12 minutes with lighter weight.
Yeah.
Like a workout that's like light deadlifts, box jumps, and wall balls.
Yeah.
Which is actually pretty basic and simple.
Yeah.
I bet there's people in the class who can beat me on that.
Awesome. We should try
this.
Yeah,
that's like, I'm pretty sure there's people in the class who come daily who are probably better in this.
Neil Bryans?
He
won't do full squats, though.
No. And the deadlift will be girls' weight as well.
No, but it's a good point, mate. High volume, low weight, just be able to move fast for a long period of time. So it's not a sprint, but it's just be able to do that.
If it's a sprint,
I'm
good. I'm okay.
Yeah.
But
it's I think it's quite interesting because your goal now, obviously, as you sort of said, is to be ready for the Open. You didn't feel that you were super ready for that. How do you feel now? We've got sort of 6 weeks away from the Open. Does the training become periodized? Do you get a rest before, or is it just go and get fitter and fitter into the Open?
I'm in the last week of my previous block now, and then the new block is going to come. I don't know exactly how the block is going to look, because once Elliot gets back from the States, we're going to have a meeting and then program the next block.
Okay.
But all I know is it's going to be more specific to open workouts.
Cool. That's very cool.
And what's going to happen? What's the goals for the 2019 season? I mean, we've already entered 2019.
They like open-wise? Or just like in general?
Just the whole year.
So I want to win for I want to be the fittest in Belgium.
Yeah.
That's on the CrossFit side. And
should we just go through that quickly?
Yeah?
Like the format of the new CrossFit Games.
You guys,
mate, you're a nerd. You've read it all.
So basically now there's 2 ways to make it to the CrossFit Games. One of them is through the CrossFit Open, which they've changed the timings of starting in 2020. In 2019, there's going to be 2 CrossFit Opens, which is a 5-week online qualifier where you have to do 1 weekly workout 5 times. After the 5 weeks, the leaderboard will be finalized, and the fittest in each country, nationality-wise, so which passport you have. So the winner will go straight to the games. There will be 1 male, 1 female from each registered country. There's the Open now this year, as usual, in February, March. But this is the final year you'll be there. And from now on, from kind of this year on, it will only be October, November.
Right.
So there'll be 2 CrossFit Opens this year. To qualify for the CrossFit Games this year, 2018 summer, it's going to be through the Open here in February, March, starting soon. And then there's this CrossFit sanctioned events. Officially, they're putting out 16 or 17 sanctioned events, but since it's a new change, there hasn't been time enough to organize 16 or 17. There will be for the 2020 Open, 20 games, but for this season, I think they're only up to 8 or 9 sanctioned events. Starting with
a couple.
There's Dubai CrossFit Championships, which was the first one, which was a month ago, where Matt Fraser and Sam Briggs won, and CrossFit Invictus won. And then there'll be Strength in Depth, there'll be Fittest in Cape Town, there is the Australia CrossFit Games, CrossFit Championships. Then there is, that's pretty much it. Before the Wodapalooza.
They've got, mate, I read them, and I'll have to go, for some reason I can't get out right now. There's actually, there's one in Asia. They put a map up
in April.
They put a map up on Morning Chalk Up. I don't know if they mapped out those whole 16. And
they don't have... all 16 are not ready for this year's games, but they're ready for this year.
Right.
If that makes sense. Because there's a lot of competitions to start on the other side of the games.
Like overlapping, yeah?
So there's like Granite Games and stuff like that on the other side of the games this year. But for this season now, for the 2019 games, I think there's only 8 or 10.
Okay. Right.
And there's plenty of like also competitions right after the Open, like French Throwdown, the one in Asia, there's one in Holland.
But they're all sanctioned events.
Lowlands.
They're all sanctioned.
They're all sanctioned.
But
Brazil has
will
one.
They call it? Yeah, Brazil has one.
Yeah.
Will they? And that was the area that CrossFit said Brazil is a waste of time, right? That's where they said they spent $1 million, and now they have a sanctioned event, maybe just to stick the finger up. But what I think some of the events will push athletes into qualification for next year.
No. Unless they're after the games.
If they're after, yeah. So they've mapped them out, but some of them might not take place until like October, November. Like Dubai CrossFit Championships takes place then.
So this year there will only be like 10 teams at the games or something because there's no teams through the Open.
Exactly.
But there'll be a bunch of individual athletes because there's like 166 countries registered. If 166 males make it, plus the sanctioned events, plus top 20 from the Open. So if you didn't win in your country, like let's say you're from America and you're super good in CrossFit, and the number 3 guy who was number 3 in the States, he's maybe number 2 in the world. He will still get an invite. So it's a little bit complex, but the long story short is that a lot of people will make it to the games, one from each country pretty much, and after 1 or 2 days, they'll cut most of them off, and it'll only be the final top 20 or so who makes it onto the final competition.
Here we got it just quickly. You've got in January now in Australia. I actually spoke about all of these in this week's What Is It show. Why doesn't it let me get this out of the way? You've got Wollongong Down Under CrossFit Championships, Australia CrossFit Championships. Then you've got something in Asia. You've got one in Asia, one in Dubai. Then you've got the Rogue Invitational in May. You've got the Granite Games in May. Brazil, Wodapalooza is now. Fittest in Cape Town. Strength in Depth in the UK is one of them. And one in Iceland. I think I just counted 14. There's about 14. But I think if we drop back into Boz, what it comes down to, mate, is that if you come the top Belgian passport citizen holder, however they define it, within the Open, you qualify for CrossFit Games.
Yeah, no matter where I live.
No matter where you live.
So that's the goal for the Open this year.
Let's talk about it. What are the other Belgian chicks like?
There's a few other girls who have made it to regionals last year for the first time.
Okay.
So you got Siri and Natalie, I think their names are.
Okay.
I know them.
Right.
I don't really know them well, but I've met them before and I've trained with them.
Yeah.
But obviously I don't know how fit they are now.
Yeah.
But
in
history, I've touched wood. I've always been the fittest in Belgium since I started doing CrossFit. Yeah. So let's see. I'm fitter than I've ever been before, and I'm more focused. Yeah. And I've put some other rules up for myself.
What are the other rules you've put up, Boz? Are you allowed to tell us?
Yes, I will. So, like I said, I've always tried to find the balance between going out, social life, and having a drink, and still training hard. But I've also realized I self-sabotage myself in a way, trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
So I've told myself 6 weeks before any competition, so now 6 weeks before the Open, I'm not having any of those little things. Right. I used to always say, okay, 1 glass of wine is fine in a weekend, once a week. It's not going to make that much of a difference. Yeah. But I've been telling myself that now for 5 years. Yeah. So and it hasn't worked.
Do you think that's been the reason why you haven't qualified?
I don't know if this is exactly the reason, but I can't. So it's almost like I'm protecting myself. Yeah. I wouldn't never say I didn't make it because of this.
So you want to remove the excuses?
Yes.
You can basically only fall back on not being fit enough and not being. So it's not about not being prepared enough. You can't make that as an excuse because you will prepare yourself 100%, and you can only fall back on, oh man, I'm just actually not good enough. Yes, and you'll probably be okay with that if you've done everything. That's the difference. That like I think that's kind of what you're saying.
That's what you're saying.
Now you can be calm because whatever happens those 5 weeks, you haven't done those things you did the last couple of years that might have been setting you back.
Could have jeopardized.
And now you know, it's
How
clear.
does that look though? Like, okay, alcohol's one of them. What else is something?
Food.
Boys.
Right.
Boys.
Whoa. We're
Well,
She's been on
Okay,
fast from boys for a long... Anyway.
Yeah.
Food-wise, mate, so no cheat days?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So in this 6 weeks...
Nothing in, like, actually
You're
bad.
telling thousands of people, don't think this
I know.
She's
I know,
nervous
no,
now.
I'm nervous. So,
But what,
you know,
what are the
I track...
rules?
Okay, so I track my food,
Yeah.
and I need to track it 6 days of a week.
Right.
The 7th day,
Yeah.
I won't track it,
Yeah.
but I won't... Like, I'll still be, conservative
Okay,
on
so-
what I
so
have,
what
but I
will you
won't
eat?
track it.
What will you eat on the 7th
I will
day?
just eat like a steak with like vegetables and potatoes, but I'll like go out somewhere or get it somewhere.
Right.
Yeah?
Savage.
So it's
So
not...
it wouldn't. So like I'm on a meal plan. I know exactly what I'm having as breakfast, lunch,
Yeah.
and dinner, and
Yeah.
as a snack and before bed.
Yeah.
And each day is the same, or pretty much like macro-wise.
Yeah.
But then on that 7th day, I'll just eat still good food, but
Yeah.
I won't care.
But
of
it's...
what it like.
Is it cake?
No, I'm not gonna eat. No, I won't.
So there's
eat.
no ice cream, there's no pizza, there's no...
Exactly. That's what I'm going to try
Right.
to do now for,
Right.
this,
For
the
the
next
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Yeah.
What else? So alcohol's one, great. Food's
Alcohol,
another.
food, yeah, and then don't skip any sessions
Right.
unless
And that's what we were talking about
we talked
before.
about. Yeah.
Okay.
Not just because I'm late. If
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you have another session and it's 5 p.m. and you're just like,
Yeah.
it's on a Saturday and
Yeah.
someone asks you to go to the movies and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so those
Don't-
things.
okay.
Then just commit to it. Yeah, so
Anything
these 3
else?
things.
Those
no,
three
those are the
things.
3 things.
So-
So stop self-sabotaging myself
Yeah.
by telling myself it's okay
Yeah.
to have this little, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
It is going to matter.
Yep.
And fully commit to the session, whatever I'm, like,
Yeah.
what I'm doing. Yeah.
I think that works. I think that works pretty well. I like it that it's like a 6 week focus.
It's not too long because if
Yeah.
I'm doing it, I know I've said things before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to drink for a year. I'm only having...
Yeah.
And it
Lasts
didn't
about
work. It
3
did,
weeks.
Yeah,
Holly calls you up.
Holly, your wife is like, oh, boss, come for dinner. And I'm like, yeah, it's good. I'm not drinking. And then I'll end up just having one glass with red wine with the main, which is still in my head not drinking, but it is.
But it is, So I think it's cool. It probably gives you a little bit, like it's a shorter window to focus on, and then obviously during the Open, you're super focused.
Yeah.
Do you see...
And then I booked a holiday with my friends after the Open.
Okay.
So I have something already to look forward to. And why I can keep also... Okay, I have the focus on performing well in the Open, but I also feel like, okay, do this well so you can just enjoy the holiday 100%.
100%. Do you think, mate, I don't want to put too much pressure, but do you think this is probably the biggest chance you have ever had and maybe will ever have to make it to the Games?
Yeah, for sure. If I don't do it now, if I don't make it now, then...
Never.
Well, I mean, then it's not going to happen, I guess, anymore.
I guess this is the thing. Like, last year, you get back from the Open. Andre, what's your goal? Next year, I want to train for regionals. 3 weeks later, no more regionals. So, like, the whole thing could change again after this year. They might realize that actually they've made a mistake. So, it's a unique opportunity that you're sort of sat behind, right?
Yeah, true. And also, because I said last year I wasn't going to do regionals, but then I end up doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I actually made a decision of doing it because it was the last one.
It was the last one.
I would have been so gutted.
Yeah.
If I would just said, "Oh no, I'm not going to do it," and then it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
It's such a nice. It was also such a nice thing.
Yeah.
Regionals, people like from the gym and friends,
Yeah,
they
everyone
looked forward
travel.
to it, to travel with you, and it's just like a whole community thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would have been gutted if I didn't do it.
So you must be feeling pretty confident. I mean, how you feel that your training is the right way, you've made these sacrifices, we've got a 6 week window in place that you've never had before, you're one of the top Belgian girls. Like, how do you feel going into the Open of this year?
like it feels good to have all these things in place.
Yeah.
But I keep telling myself I can't be lazy and take it for granted that I've been, because that's what I tell myself every day.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you've been maybe the best in Belgium for 6 years, but that doesn't matter. Those other girls, they have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I have everything to lose, basically.
Yeah.
So I need to keep that in my mind, that I need to step up my game.
What does it mean to you to make it to the games?
It means that I've completed a chapter.
Nice. Yeah.
Of my book. I've started this chapter CrossFit and I loved it from the beginning, and I said, okay, at one point I'm gonna make it to the games next year.
Yeah.
And I kept saying it, and I kept saying it next year, and I didn't make it, so I said, okay, no worries, I'll do this and this and this, and then the next year, and it hasn't happened yet, so it's a very long chapter. But it's gonna finish. It's a pretty
interesting one. It's a good read, though, mate. It's you don't want to put the book down.
No,
that's for sure. Talking outside of CrossFit, mate, a couple of small questions. Like, when you're in this state now, you're super focused. This is the 6 weeks. What do you actually do to relax?
I watch a movie at home.
Just
hang out with friends.
Yeah.
And with hanging out with friends, I don't mean going for brunch.
Yeah.
But just go to the beach, tan a little bit.
Do you feel like you're missing out on anything?
Not if I have some people around that a few people that I really care about, and they have made a big difference the past year as well.
Yeah.
Just being more happy with what I'm doing and where I'm at. So if I spend time with these people, then that's what relaxes me.
You feel good.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. What else should we know? All of the people that asked for you to come on the show, I'm not sure what they were chasing. We probably should have put out like questions for bars and just rattled through them at the end. I'm not sure we'd have got all the ones that are appropriate. But what else should we know, mate? Anything else?
Not really.
Not really.
All good.
We actually
maybe don't ask me to go for a drink in the next 6 weeks, because I'm good in saying no once, and then the second time I'll say no, and I'll do this one.
The Indian one.
The Indian one. What does this mean? Okay, let's go.
Let's get it done. Mate, do you live by any sort of mantra for this year? Like, I know we've spoken a lot about your change of focus, but is there anything that sort of you think about that just flicks a switch back on and that brings you back into line if your head does, start to wonder?
I think the self-sabotaging thing is my main mantra for this year. So still, like, I can't keep telling myself it's okay to allow myself these little things. So that's the main focus.
Don't fuck this up.
Don't say that, because I'll get stressed about it.
But that's, you've sacrificed a lot. You don't want to... I mean, there's literally... Those last things, people might think, geez, that's, one glass of wine or this or that. But you've literally stripped everything down. Anything that you think could potentially impact the result, you've removed or you've taken care of, you've addressed in a certain way, to create the best possible chance.
Exactly. If I take all those little things away and I'm still not good enough, then it's fine. Then I wasn't good enough, and it's fine sometimes to be not good enough. I need to learn that it's, Do
you find inspiration in any of your... Is there like a sports star you look up to? I mean, I know you're very good friends with Sarah Sigmund's daughter. Is there anyone like her or someone else that you look up to that kind of can... put you back into like that focus or help you stay more like...
In a way, yes, but I also realized all of these girls or athletes, they all have their own demons, and they all deal with the same things. The more I know them, like the better I know them, the more I realize that they deal maybe with even harder things that I deal with. I deal with, okay, can't have a drink. Mate, it's nothing. There's people who have way worse things in their head than not allowing yourself a drink. And that made me realize also that, wow, if you can't even do this, then
I think that's true. I think a lot of people look to to anyone or to others that are doing well, and you don't feel pain, it's easy for you, geez, I know a lot of sports people that are like, if they weren't sports people, they'd be drug addicts. Like, they're fighting drug
they
drug
used
issues.
to be
or they
drug
used
addicts,
to be drug addicts. Yeah.
I had this conversation with Tom one day, how funny it is that a lot of really good athletes who can push or go to like a different level have this background of like mental issues or drug problems because they've been to another state of mind before, so they can get to that place when they have to.
When they have to, yeah.
Dre's looking like...
It's kind of, you tasted beard once?
I've tasted a beer once.
Oh, I know that state.
I cried with this movie. Does this mean I have a mental health issue?
But I think you're right, mate. I think you probably, from that point of view, you're probably in good shape compared to a lot of people, because I think a lot of... I think a lot of people, especially in CrossFit, because it's such a crazy sport, and there's so many different areas, there's so many things that could potentially stress you out, and there's like what you've just said about food. Like, people are going 6 weeks, crazy bitch, she's gonna have a steak and vegetables on her day off. Like, people are just going, what? You know what I mean? Because it's like, but there's so many people that are fighting, they're fighting ice cream after a hard workout. Like, top athletes are fighting that stuff as well. So I agree, man. I think the way that you stack up against a lot of them, I think you're in good shape, and you're not stressed out about, I'm not doing this properly, or it's
like your biggest strength, actually. Like,
the
same with work. Like, sometimes, like, you have a lot of hours today? No, check the schedule.
12.
10 hours. How are you going to fit that with training? Oh, it's going to work out.
Yeah, that's because she doesn't know that she's booked in 10 hours of PT, man.
Yeah, I totally know these things, because I'll just say, this is fine. And then I end up looking at my schedule and
oh, shit.
Okay. And that's when it also comes into place, when maybe I can only do one session well. And sometimes you have to think, okay, and this month I want to make a bit more money. This month I want to focus a bit more on whatever training and try to find that balance. Yeah. So the mantra this year or every year is balance, right?
I don't think there has to be any balance. I think I think you got to go all in on what you're doing, and I think I think that's probably why you get situations like that, because you're coaching, you coach all in, you're training, you train all in, and I think it's an extreme mindset at the same time, but it's kind of what you need. Like, when you look at all the top athletes, all the most successful people, like, I don't think they have any balance in their life at all. Because if you say, what's balance? If you define balance as socializing with your friends, having a couple of drinks if you drink, having some bad food if you have bad food, going on holiday, spending time doing this, that, and the other. Like, okay, Trump maybe does because he's a bit weird, but like, generally, like, super successful, if you're a super successful CEO, you see them. They're a lot. Sorry for anyone who's listening who's super successful and has a good home life, but something gives at some stage. Hopefully it's not their home life, but, we get them come in here. They're super successful in business. They have a really nice family, and they weigh 130 kilos. Like, I don't think there's too much. I don't think there's too much balance going on. But saying that, mate, I think you've struck a nice you've structured quite a nice scenario to, I think, set yourself up. Your thoughts on the spot? Will she qualify for the CrossFit Games this year?
Yes, I think Carmen seems much more focused than ever before, and I also think that those small things, maybe they don't make a physiological change, not drinking once a week, but mentally, when you're in the dark place and you're going head to head against someone else, that thing is going to come up in your head that other person might not have been drinking for 2 years and coming chasing you, and once you haven't done any flaws, that won't come up in your head, and you'll just be able to push through. So, I believe in you, and I think there's big chance whatever happens.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't control the open. You just can only control effort and preparation.
Yeah. Good. I think that's a good conversation. We're almost at 50 minutes. Boz, any final thoughts that you want to thank your fans for, or your groupies? No, Anton's left now. he'll definitely be listening to this.
He's still listening.
Still listening.
He's up now, just
He's up
knowing that we're recording this now.
He's just waiting for Thursday morning. He's like this, tapping the desk at work.
Oh, thank you, everyone who requested to hear me out, and I'll see you in the classes.
We'll see you in the class, and mate, we have to. We'll do an open debrief after 5 weeks, and after you've had your holiday, and then we see the next steps. I think it'll be interesting for obviously both of you. Andre's got your goals as well surrounding the Open, so that'll be another good show.
Both go to the games.
That could be quite good. We'll have to get Shine to teach some of the classes.
Folks,
there you have it.
No, Shine has to come for pictures.
Yeah, exactly, all the way to the States. You reckon, Shine? Yep. That nod, you know that nod. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for listening. Carmen, we wish you all the best, mate. And yeah, you've done pretty much everything you can. Andre's given his blessing. I'll give you mine. I think you can make it. Namaste, as these people say these days. Thanks a lot for tuning in, folks. If you do have any questions, you want to send anything to Boz, winning@innerfight.com. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care.